Honestly, I think the last thing I ever expected to do was to try to investigate a kinship between Travis Scott and the legend that is Kurt Cobain. Before people start shooting darts at me, realize that this is coming from a place of curiosity and questioning. But there is a shift happening in hip-hop, and some people are not properly understanding what is happening here. This isn't an essay trying to force you as the audience to somehow see that Travis Scott is the Kurt Cobain of our generation. That is not even a fair comparison to make. What I am covering here is a pivot into the trajectory of where hip-hop is going. And this is the same pivot that rock music was facing when Nirvana came onto the scene. And this is simply me trying to figure out where the similarities lie. Punk rock has long inspired images of garage bands, friends jamming out, and not caring about meeting professional standards. It was a direct rebellion against the rock music of the 70s, whose mainstream appeal was beginning to grow tired in the eyes of the new up-and-coming artists. These artists rebelled. Their melodies were challenging, the production was stripped down, and it was as anti-establishment as it could get. Intentional, provocative, and shameless. With the state of rappers mumbling lines or sticking towards simplified cadences and melodic rhyming, all of the titles that people try to put onto this type of music seems to be an inaccurate encapsulation of what is happening. The term mumble rap is dismissive, and just calling them rock stars doesn't really mean anything. This energy is coming more from the heart of punk rock than anything else in hip-hop, and we see it, with new and young artists claiming to be rock stars, with old hip-hop DJs and personalities shaking their head and claiming that they are witnessing the death of hip-hop as we know it. The whole point is disruption. These new artists do not care about the traditions of hip-hop and hold no loyalty to it. This is not about fitting in. This is a do-it-yourself rebellion, throwing away the traditional concepts of lyricism and MCing.
I think that you bringing something more in what the hip-hop came and what the hip-hop bring, because you grew up with that and you're doing pop music.
Yeah.
And you're doing rock. It's like Young Thug. When I met Young Thug like 2 weeks ago, I wasn't watching him like a rapper. It can be really thuggish to have nails and wear a dress and don't give a fuck. That's a really thuggish, like it's punk.
Yeah, punk rock.
Now naturally, trends will start to build out from the subgenres. Artists like the Sex Pistols made punk rock that was pure rebellion.
Lior also called you punk rock. Lior called you punk rock.
Yeah, hey man, I guess I wouldn't call myself punk rock, but yeah, I guess it's tight.
But you do like the Sex Pistols.
Yes, I fucking do.
And Sid Vicious.
Yes, that's my fucking idol.
Do you like any other punk bands at all?
Yeah, but not that I can think of the name, but just, you know, I'm not really into like the punk scene. I just like, you know, I like music, you know, the vibe is cool and shit, but I'm really into like just different.
Your energy is very punk.
Yeah, but I really like, you know, melodic shit. I like, you know, a lot of just like Tame Impala type shit.
There was an artist that felt that his band could bring something to the punk scene: accessibility. Could the spirit of punk be transferred into something that the masses would love? Kurt Cobain thought so. Nirvana brought a love for melody to the forefront of their music. Songs like Smells Like Teen Spirit, Lithium, Polly, Rape Me, and so many more have easy-to-remember melodies and moments that clearly transcend the labels previously put on their brand of music.
I think that's one of the most grossest periods of music in history is right around the mid-'80s when this crossover metal and punk rock thing started happening, where it wasn't cool to write songs that had melody anymore. It had to be total noise and aggression all the time, and I just got really sick of that. Is there an ashtray around here somewhere?
On the other side of the coin, you have Travis Scott. Trap is a subgenre that has been beloved for a while now, but no one had really transcended the music and brought it to the masses in a way that didn't forsake its spirit. The rebellion in Travis's music is there, but it sounds a bit more melodic and elaborate. Scott wants to elevate the music into something past hip-hop, and he does that primarily through the use of melody.
I get those goosebumps every time you come around, you ease my mind, you make everything feel fine.
Melody is the one facet of music that translates across genres and fan bases.
Tell me about Antidote. When did you find that melody.
Don't you open up that window.
Like every day when I want to, like na 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 na.
This isn't about diluting music or compromising. This is about elevating. Forms of music don't stay rebellious for long. Making it more accessible becomes a rebellion in and of itself.
Kurt Cobain, people that are just like keep it real.
Yeah, to you, Kurt Cobain could have been a hip hop artist.
Yeah. I don't consider myself like hip hop. I don't want you to put me up like next to them. These like some of them niggas just like straight corny.
Rebellion has to keep moving to each side of the extreme for it to truly be rebellion. It's about rocking the boat when you notice it leaning too far to one end. But why does any of this matter? It matters because we are watching hip-hop transform into something that might not even be considered hip-hop anymore. This generation is the post-808s and Heartbreak class of graduates that are trying to change the genre as we know it, and it's a beautiful thing. It's going to change, no matter how much people want it to stay the same. And Travis is the current ringleader of this generation, an up-and-coming genius with a hatred for the same old, same old.
This is not for old motherfuckers. If they like it, then it's like they have their vibe at heart. And that's like what I want to bring out of people that wear the suits every day. You can like sneak a Travis Scott CD under your like 9 to 5 desk and like turn it up just a little bit and turn up on your boss and shit.
Kurt Cobain grabbed punk rock by the neck and forced it to be what he wanted it to be, changing the entire landscape of music.
Where did the term come from?
I have no idea. I think some of the rumors are that Jonathan Poneman said it one time sarcastically, and it just caught on.
Who's that?
He's one of the head honchos at Sub Pop Records. No one set out to market this music as that. That's what happens when the media catches on. They have to call it something. I like it as much as new wave. I would have been proud to be a new waver, 15 years ago.
Is there anything the same between your music and new wave?
I think so.
Like what?
Well, new wave was just a progression from punk rock and a mutation of punk rock, and it was more commercial and more palatable, It had, punk rock roots, and it was easier to swallow for the media. And
that influence spoke to Kid Cudi, who idolizes Kurt, relating to his music, his struggles, and his aspirations.
Yeah, I was like, man, I'm going to either kill myself or I'm going to do some drugs. I don't want to live, so it was wild, man, because I just was trying to maintain. I wasn't trying to be cool. I wasn't proud of it, and I didn't. So in not being able to talk to another human alive, that really got what I was dealing with. I became obsessed with, all the greats that could have possibly been dealing with the same thing psychologically, and then I dove into Morrison and Hendrix and then Kurt early on and got obsessed. And then I was like, these are my heroes, they understand me.
Kid Cudi has been more punk than hip-hop post Man on the Moon 2, and unapologetically so. And it has gotten him a lot of hate, most notably hate for his album Speeding Bullet to Heaven, which isn't as bad of an album as we all made it out to be. But it is a conscious middle finger to hip-hop and every expectation ever put on him after his first 2 albums. No matter how much he was hated for that, he will be the one who took all of the bullets to make room for the next black punk artist to make a hybrid that is more accessible.
Wait, why is Kid Cudi the determining factor? I obviously know you're a huge fan.
Yeah.
But is that just why you love him so much that he needs to be on
I feel like he's part of my story of how I even became who I am.
And that is truly where the similarity lies between the pivot of Travis Scott and the pivot of Kurt Cobain and their respective genres. It was a fight towards accessibility and connecting their audiences with that rebellious spirit while keeping their ears entertained.
It's like grunge is really kind of boring for us, It's something we can't deny. Our tastes are just changing so rapidly that we're really experimenting with a lot of stuff, and it might get too indulgent and be really embarrassing for the next album, but we can't put out another album, and this is just like the last chapter of 3-chord grunge music for us.
The brilliant artist Arthur Jaffa, he asked, how would you articulate the difference between being a rock star and being a hip-hop artist?
To be honest, I wouldn't even put myself in neither category. They both have stereotypes, and I'm just like I'm a person that go against all types of stereotypes. I just create music for living, that's it. I don't make it for like, it's not a specific color, race, sex, gender. It's just for like a lifestyle. Now, whether you deem it as rock star, hip hop, it's up to you. But to me, it's just like music.